I want to take you down memory lane. If you look at the statistics available, there has been at least one armed robbery in each of the 6 months of this year already. January recorded the most cases, about 6 of them, and these are reported cases. So there is a possibility that there are cases that have not been reported to the police. There are cases that have not been heard about, but actually have occurred. We want to take you down memory lane. Take a look at some of the robbery cases that we've recorded in this country so far.
Over the past week alone, there have been at least 4 separate incidents of violent attacks in Accra. These incidents, which were mainly armed robbery attacks, started from the Gimpa bypass. The suspects involved hid in nearby bushes and smashed the side glass of oncoming vehicles in an attempt to rob occupants.
You guys should avoid the Gimpa stretch late nights. They tried to rob me, but I was smart. I had to continue driving. I sped off, and that's what they threw. Can you imagine?
On Wednesday, June 9, there were 2 armed robbery incidents involving gun-wielding men on motorbikes. In the first of the 2 incidents, the robbers accosted the victim at Pig Farm, fired 5 warning shots, then shot him in the stomach, leaving blood splattered on a section of the road.
And I just hear a 2 gun warning shots. Bow, 2. So after they stopped the other biker and they collected his bag and they shoot him 2 bullets.
In a second incident, 3 gun-wielding men on motorbikes entered the Forex Bureau adjacent the fire service headquarters, which is also a few meters away from the police headquarters. They shot 2 workers and robbed them of their monies.
They come down, I hear the bullet, something like that, or the bullet.
On Saturday evening at about 9:30 p.m., a male driver informed the Achimota School District Police during a patrol he had been attacked by 2 armed men. The driver, who had been shot, then led police to the crime scene, and upon arrival, the 2 robbers fled the scene as they escaped to a nearby forest. Another robbery incident was also recorded around the Cell Fuel station at Barlishi near East Legon at about 7:40 p.m. on Sunday. The 2 robbers sitting on a motorbike sped off using the Lagos Avenue stretch immediately after the incident. The police has made at least 5 arrests in connection with the crimes over the week. It is, however, advising robbery victims to formally file complaints on their experiences to the nearest police station.
So let me break down for you the statistics there, what the numbers are saying at the point. And these are reported cases. In fact, some of the reported cases might even just slip out of your hands. But I'll just take you through what we have here. Like I said, January alone recorded about 6 of them. The subsequent months, about 1 and 2. But let's take it case after case. In January, robbers shot a 25-year-old driver in the leg at the entrance of Wulugu Senior High School. That happened on the 2nd of January. An Okada rider again robbed another rider of his motorcycle at gunpoint here in Tesano, in Accra. This happened on the 5th of January. And then gunmen attacked a water company at Anlo Afiadenigba Junction in the Volta region. They made away with an undisclosed amount of money as well as other valuables. And this occurred on the 14th of January. Same January, armed robbers shot dead a young police officer who was escorting a bullion van and bolted with the monies in the van. This happened on the 18th of January. So that's your first bullion van attack in this year. A police officer again was shot dead in a daylight attack at the Nyankumaso near Obuasi. This happened on 20th of January. So you see a trend of bullion vans being attacked and daylight robberies as well. I bring you still in January. Armed robbers besieged a church in Oyibi where they shot the head pastor and then they stabbed a worshipper. This was on the 27th of January. Again, armed men killed a police officer and injured another on the Pramkesi Techiman Road. This also happened at the beginning of this year, that is January. So I want to move quickly to June. And armed robbers raided a forest burial close to the police headquarters here in Usu. We know that story. Very, very close to the police headquarters. The armed robbers again killed a policeman in a bullion van at Kolebu around the Bukom Boxing Arena and left the driver seriously injured. That happened just yesterday. Well, these reports of killings and murders are not restricted to the national capital. In the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi, the situation has been similar. My colleague Erastus Asari Donko has been cataloguing the incident. He's joining me right now. Hello, Erastus. Erastus?
Yeah, Gifty.
Erastus, take us through the cases that you have reported on.
So I must say that inside Kumasi itself, there have been many of such robberies and phone snatching incidents and all that. But across Ashanti region, the ones that we have worked on and we can vividly recall offhand is if you remember, late last year, somewhere September, then the bullion van robbery started somewhere at Manso, Edubia Manso, Kenyago Road. We understand that they were 3 in number, all armed with AK-47 and pump-action guns. And if you look at the vehicle itself and the way it was sprayed with bullets, you remember that one cashier died on the spot. He got hit. He was sitting right behind the driver. He was hit by the AK-47. It went through the body of the hard body vehicle and then went through him many times. Then the policeman who was sitting on the front also sustained severe gunshot wounds, plus another person. The driver also sustained some injury. Now, fast forward, at Danse Asukwa Junction, another robbery on a bullion van happened there as well. One person was killed. Then, if you recall, many of the drivers plying the Bolga-Kumasi route, at a point in time, they demonstrated, they went on a strike because there were highway robberies occurring, and so they went on strike and decided not to move there again until the police does something about those robberies. Let me come to just this month. Bokrum Estate, a company called CSSL. They provide financing services. That one too, armed robbers stormed that place, broad daylight, gunned down one person, and took away about 140,000 Ghana cedis. There have been some murders, unsolved murders as well. The ones that come directly to my head right now, if you look at the murder of women, one at the Srifikrum, some teenager, 16-year-old who was murdered. Some of her body parts were fingers and other things were taken off. If you go to Choma Kwangoma, one woman, Sabina, I recall vividly, she sells watermelons. She woke up in the morning, went to purchase watermelons as usual, and she did not come home. The next day, they found the body by the roadside. The breast was missing. Other fingers and other parts were missing. Children have not been left out. In the month of May alone, 4 children went missing at Asnomaso, Offenso, and Obuasi. With Obuasi one, within just some few hours, they searched, and then they found out he has been strangled. That was a 4-year-old boy by a tenant, and the body placed under his bed. When he comes to Asnomaso, that 4-year-old boy was murdered. He went missing a day. His body was found the next day in an uncompleted toilet with nail holes in his head. And ostensibly, you could see that there was a wooden plank with nails on it. So our conviction is that they used that to hit the head many times and the belly, killing him. The killers of this boy have not been found till now. The 4-year-old girl who was found at Offenso, she also went missing a week later. Her body was found, her throat was slit, and until now, one person has been arrested. He says he doesn't know anything about it. As we speak, there is a 4th child who has gone missing for 2 weeks now. 4-year-old Abdullah is still missing. They've not been able to find him, and the parents are still searching, the police are still searching for him. And so I must say that it's been quite a year full of crimes, many of them unsolved. Many of them have gone very cold. That makes the people sit on tenterhooks in some parts of Ashanti region.
other stories, other related crime stories, and also getting us some responses from the police in the region. But wrap up with me on what people say. How do people feel about this, given what is happening here in Accra as well?
Well, and so I must say it just heightens the fear. When you come to Ashanti region now, there are certain areas where you cannot move after 6. If you have to move around these areas, then you have to move in groups. There are many areas like that in Kumasi itself. When you go beyond Kumasi, areas where these incidents have occurred, people are very, very scared. Children are protected all the time. And that is how come a woman just screamed for help, and people pounced on a young man thinking that he was trying to hurt some children who were found in the bush. And so you could feel that heightened sense of fear. Now on the Manso, Kenyago, Manso, Dubia roads, those areas where they do illegal mining, it's difficult for these days for bullion vans to travel like they do previously on that stretch. It's a bad road, and there are highway robberies all around that particular place. So I must say that people want the police to do more than they are doing now. They want answers. They want solutions. They want closure to many of these cases to bring back that self-confidence that they do have within the security system.
Erastus, thank you very much. Erastus Osari Donko there is a member of the security desk here at JoyNews. And like I said, we are in touch with the police as well to provide the answers that Erastus is talking about. My colleague Ohimin Terry has been speaking to them. Let me bring on the phone Dr. Ishmael Norman. He's president of the Institute for Security, Disaster and Emergency Studies. Dr. Norman, thank you for your time. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Let me take your thought on the trend that we are seeing at the moment. We're seeing a lot of bullion van attacks. We're seeing broad daylight attacks. Is there a way to explain this trend?
There are many ways to explain it, but one of them is simply that the criminals see opportunity. They see that the bullion vans were not hardened, meaning they were not armored vehicles, meaning the police were not really, who were in the vans were not really well trained. They had, weak weapons that you cannot simply maneuver or draw in the front of a bullion van or even when you are in a bucket. So that is basically an opportunity analysis, opportunity cost. And they see that they can get away with it because the post-crime event investigation is also poor. So they look at how porous it is, how easily they can get away with it, take a lot of money and run away on a motor bicycle, and that's it. So I think it is the way our system is designed right now, making it easier for the criminals to basically do whatever they want.
Is that the only explanation? There have been people saying it's perhaps, we know the fundamental problem of lack of jobs, but people are even actually saying that, well, people don't have jobs because we have stopped the fight against Galamsey. That doesn't really sound tenable, don't you think? Well,
the unintended consequences of there are two things. The unintended consequences of the land guards activities and Galamsey is all part of it. And I actually have said this before, that the vigilante groups that have been disbanded, they will morph into criminal entities. And if you look at the progression of things, you can go back to that period and then move forward. That coincided with the ban on Galamsey. So you have released a lot of people with a lot of energy who don't have jobs, who don't have a way of earning a living, and they are desperate people. So what do you expect them to do? Some of them feel that the best way for them to make a living, enjoy life a little bit, is to go in the direction of crime. And this becomes so easy because for them, because our police force is a little bit behind the times. They are not doing pre-crime analysis and scenarios and simulation exercises. So the criminals are ahead of the game right now.
How then do we tackle it? Would you say that it's a state of hopelessness?
No. The security of the country is still sound. Okay. We have moments of upheavals, no matter what. Any country goes through these moments where there's uptick of crime. But I think our police force need to regroup, need to strategize, and find a way to re-engage the community, because all these people live in the communities, and the people know them. I think it would be best to bring back community police, visibility police, but because it was designed by the previous government, it looks like there's a great deal of reluctance on the part of the current group to actually copy something that appeared to have worked very well. So I will advise that they should draw back, push back all the political thinking that is stopping them from adopting a system that really worked well for everybody, and adopt the visibility police and the community policing, revamp that and make it stronger.
How do you think?
Go ahead, Gifty.
Yeah, I was just going to ask how you think, to what extent you think that the visibility police at the time actually led to reduction in crime.
We didn't hear so many of these kind of dastardly events happening in 2 billion vans or police officers. Whenever agents of security, police officers, begin to be shut down by criminals, you know that there is a great deal, a large cohort of people that are very disgruntled against central government, because these people are agents. So if you're upset with the government, don't take it on police officers. They are also struggling just like you are. Don't take it on innocent people. Tackle it with those that can solve the problem, not the agents who are just trying to also, make a living and take care of their families. So I am pleading with the criminals. If it's money you want, take the money and run. Leave the police officers alone. The money is almost insured anyway. So if it's lost today, it will be recouped someday, and the customers will pay it back somehow. So don't kill the people. Even if you rob people, don't kill them. They haven't done you any wrong. All you want is the property. Take it and run. So I think our police security forces have to do a lot more.
Okay.
And somehow they have to go after the perpetrators, but they also have to also treat them as human beings. When they arrest them, not beat them, not cane them, not steal their things from them, So there are a lot that we need to do to get things a little bit back to where it was before.
Let me just take your thoughts quickly on this final question. There are people who are saying that the IGP should be sacked, but there are also people who are saying that that won't solve the problem. Sacking an IGP doesn't change anything. It's all about the structures that you have in place to police the country. What do you make of this? What's your take?
I have seen the debate. I have read some of the debate about calling for the sacking of the IGP. Let me ask you this question through you, Gifty. Do they know the performance objective of the IGP? Has he made the performance objective according to the people who put him there? If he has made the performance objective according to the people who put him there, I don't have a right to call for his sacking. What we need to do is to go to the people that put him there and ask them, is the IGP performing to the level that you thought he would perform? If not, then what are you doing about it? I don't like to tackle individual personalities and positions of responsibility because something bad happened. When students fail, do we sack all the lecturers in the university? Or if you can answer positively that when university students fail, when they can't find jobs, when they are hopeless, do we punish the lecturers? If we can punish the lecturers, then let's sack the IGP. If we cannot, then I think we should find an alternative way to discussing the issue. The issue is about lapses in security, not the personality of the IGP.
They will raise the argument about leadership, that most of the things have been, when it comes to execution of tasks, is all about leadership. Leadership ought to be able to put in place systems that helps them to deliver on the set targets.
The criminal justice system does not only include the police. It includes the police, the lawyers, the judges, the investigators, the community. So if the criminal justice system, if the crime watch is not working well, we should all fix the problem. We shouldn't push it on the head of one entity. It's beginning to remind me when a champion, Ignatius Kuti, a champion was in power. When he reigned, they blamed him. When he didn't reign, they blamed him. This is what is happening. Let us stop the blame game and find solutions, because we are all part of the solution.
Very well. Thank you very much, Doc, for your time this afternoon. Dr. Ishmael Norman is the president of the Institute of Security, Disaster and Emergency Studies. We're still staying on security. The minority in Parliament is asking President Akufo-Addo to sit up and deal with what the minority is calling the growing insecurity in the country. The spokesperson on Defense and Interior, James Agalga, says yesterday's killing of the policeman in Jamestown, among 4 other recent deaths of policemen, shows no one in this country is safe. Mr. Agalga says the security situation is worsening because of poor management of the police service, including the keeping of numerous pensioners in the service. Joseph Opoku-Gakpo is joining me live with details. He's been monitoring this press conference. Hello, Joseph. Share with us further details that the minority gives.
Gifty.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And so the ranking member on Parliament, Defense and Interior Committee, James Agalga, and the minority chief whip, Muntaka Mubarak, and a number of other MPs on the minority side have been addressing the media this afternoon, expressing concern about the security situation in the country. They say per their account, there's been about 4 or 5 different incidents of police people being killed in the country over the last week or so, which he considers a very troubling development. The minority behind Idris is joining his life. We saw the media briefing today by your colleagues on the minority side about the security situation. Are you worried about the latest incidents, including the killing of a policeman yesterday, as the rest of the audience?
Certainly, the president must take immediate steps to arrest the deteriorating security situation in the country and the growing incidence of crime. It's a function of unemployment. It's a function of lack of opportunity that government has been creating, and all the investment that national security and the Minister for Interior did on CCTV cameras. What's the output? What's its impact on our quest to collectively fight crime? The president can be assured that we will support him in protecting lives and ensuring the peace and safety of our citizens. But those investments, we demand returns on them.
Do you get a sense?
You know, when Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia sought to do politics with some of these matters related for some policemen, he must keep his word.
Do you get the sense?
He must keep his word. We want to be able to respect what he says as Vice President of our Republic.
Do you get the sense the investment that's supposed to go into security are not going into the right places?
What he promised and pledged, where is it? And 2, the politicization of the police service, reducing it into partisan context. It's what we destroy the Ghana police service.
Should it be the president?
Allow professionals to take charge, regardless of their political background.
Should it be the president? That's the minority leader, Highland Idris, is also MP for Tamale South there, demanding that leadership in the country actually sets up and deal with the security situation as is being faced currently. And he's been insisting that they think that there are issues with some of the investment that government says it's made into the security space over the years, which they are not seeing the returns on, including some of the assurances that come from Vice President Mahmoud Bawumia that the police will be supported with the adequate tools and equipment. One of the things that, again, at the press briefing earlier today, the ranking member on Parliament, Defense and Interior Committee complained about had to do with people that the minority says are people who are supposed to be on pension and are not supposed to be within the police service. And the reference was to a number of officers, including the Inspector General himself, and some other senior officers, and says that that is not something that should be happening. And it's part of how come the police service, in terms of the work that they do, there is some form of demoralization, and a lot of the officers there do not have the edge to get their jobs done, which they say it's a worrying thing. And finally, he's also been expressing concern that in response to these concerns having to do with the shooting yesterday, there's been conflicting directives from both the Bank of Ghana and the police in terms of when the various banks should provide the necessary armored vehicle bullion vans in order to be able to better protect the cash that they are transporting and the police officers. And he's saying that those institutions should reconcile their positions on the issue. Gifty.
Joseph, we'll come back to you to Parliament to get a glimpse of the vetting that happened also in Parliament today. But let me leave you for now. We'll come back to you. Joseph Opoku Gakpo there.